Hello, everybody. My name is Camden Anderson, and today I'm going to be giving you my persuasive speech. I did my persuasive speech on why breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I know, food, very exciting. So to get started, I'm going to give you an example I think that most of us can relate to right now or either at some point in the past. Going to an 8 a.m. class. I know, dreadful. But most of us can relate to this, that, waking up for an 8 a.m. is not fun. Even if you went to bed at 9 p.m. or if you went to bed at 6 a.m., it's terrible. You wake up, you throw on whatever's closest to you, you rush out the door, you walk across campus, you get into your lecture. 5 minutes once you're there, your eyes start to go down, your belly starts to roar loudly, and you're ready to eat. But you can't because you're in class. And if you're like me, I grew up, really enjoying breakfast and really knowing that it was very important. And, my dad always made pancakes and waffles on the weekends, and my mom always had breakfast ready for us before school. And it was just really important and really got me going throughout the day. But when I got into college, that changed a little bit. I didn't have my mom and dad there telling me, oh, you got to eat breakfast, and, I kind of took more time to sleep and then, woke up and rushed out the door. But I quickly learned that this wasn't good. I saw that it affected me in a negative manner, and this is because breakfast is so important. It increases your energy level, it increases your cognitive function throughout the day, and it also influences your food consumption throughout the day. And all of these things have a big effect on how you live and how your body runs. And I also realized that if you're like me, you're a broke college kid and, making or going to get food anywhere, like at the Web Center, isn't always ideal. And therefore, I am going to talk to you about some tips or some few easy ways at the end of the speech on how to guarantee that you get what you need throughout the day. So to get started, I'm going to talk about metabolism and how breakfast kickstarts your metabolism and gives you that energy that you need. So what is metabolism? Metabolism is the chemical process that occurs when you take in food or when living organisms take in food for them to live. And not taking food in or the starvation diets slow your metabolism down. So when you don't eat in the morning, your metabolism is sort of tricked. It doesn't know what's going on. It says, oh, no, there's no food coming in, so I'm going to slow down and I'm going to use all this energy that I do have and make it last as long as possible. Because your metabolism doesn't know when the next source of energy is going to come. It doesn't know that 5 minutes from now you're going to eat a granola bar. All it knows is right now I don't have energy to go off of, so I'm going to slow down and take my time on the energy that I do have. So eating a good breakfast tells your body that it has calories to burn, that it has that energy to go off of, that it can run and it can go at a normal level instead of slowing down. And according to the Dartmouth Hitchcock Norris Cotton Cancer Center, eating breakfast increases your resting metabolism by 10%. So eating a very good breakfast really, really helps you when it comes time to sitting in that 8 a.m. class where you're resting, you're not moving more than just paying attention. It increases your metabolism while you're sitting in that class. So you're actually burning more calories and burning up more energy when you eat a good breakfast. Also, breakfast immediately raises your body's energy level, or it restores the blood glucose level to normal after sleeping throughout the night. When you sleep, your blood glucose levels decrease because you're not doing anything. So your body knows that it can rest, it can lower it while you're sleeping, and then when you get up and you're being active, your body needs that sugar, it needs that glucose. So having a good breakfast really does make a difference on those energy levels. So breakfast also immediately lowers the blood level of the stress hormone cortisol, which peaks during the early morning hours. So taking in food or taking in an energy source really helps decrease those stress hormones. And going back to the 8 a.m. class, we can all see that, or know, or have experienced it, that when you don't get a good food intake in the morning and you're in that 8 a.m., you don't want to deal with anyone. You don't want to deal with the professor. You don't want to deal with the class. So having that good intake in the morning will help in those situations and help you go throughout the day with less stress. So having a good breakfast also influences cognitive function throughout the day. And if you don't replenish your carbohydrates, storing during the day in the early morning hours, this will result in a very low blood glucose levels, like I talked about, and can adversely have an effect on your ability to concentrate and perform mental tasks. So when you don't take in that food in the morning, your body slows down, the blood glucose decreases, and your mind isn't aware of what's going on as much. So having that good intake of food in the morning raises your cognitive function and helps you go throughout the day knowing what's going on, going into that 8 a.m. class, and really paying attention to the professor and taking in what he's saying instead of worrying about, oh, I'm hungry, I need to get out of here. It also helps with, just normal tasks throughout the day. And you can see this in a study that was done with elementary school students, where they took a handful of students, and ones that ate and ones that didn't, and that showed that the kids that did eat in the morning could do literally like simple tasks so much better than the kids that couldn't, because they could focus and they could understand what's going on, rather than those kids that were a little out of it because they didn't have any energy and their glucose levels were down and their body was going slow because it didn't have that energy that those kids did that were eating breakfast. So it's a very, very big deal for having that breakfast. And also eating a large breakfast lowers the appetite throughout the day and reduces the daily caloric intake. So having that good breakfast makes an influence on the consumption for the entire day. You can think about a time where you didn't have a lot of food and you become super, super hungry. So when you're at that lunch, your eyes are really big and you're like, oh, I can get all of this, and you eat really fast, and then what happens? You feel like crap after. And that's because, another adverseful effect that not eating, your stomach shrinks. And this has a very bad effect, because when you go to eat, you overeat, and then you get really sick because your stomach's about to explode. And that's why people say that, my stomach's about to explode, because it is. You think that you can eat more than you can, and you end up eating too much. So this idea of eating a good breakfast has a long-term weight maintenance and weight loss effect, instead of that quick effect of losing weight, where some people might see when they don't eat well in the morning. It has a long-term maintenance and a long-term weight loss effect when you eat a good breakfast and eat good throughout the entire day. So a little tips to help with those of you like me that haven't had very good breakfast ideals in the past. Plan your breakfast. Plan it the night before. Set out what you're going to make that morning when you wake up. Have an idea. That way when you wake up, you're not shuffling around, stumbling, trying to find something to eat. You know what you're going to have, and you plan out the time that it's going to take to make that and eat that before you leave for the day. And try and make a variety. Try and get a good variety of things to eat and to consume. That way you get all the nutritions that you need. It's sufficient for all food categories. Your fats, carbs, and proteins are probably the best for breakfast, but throwing in some fruits or anything like that, simple carbohydrates are great. and don't go crazy. Having a big, good big breakfast is great, but don't eat way too much. Don't go crazy on carbs and don't go crazy on proteins. Stick to that variety and stick to having a very good, nutritious breakfast to start your day. So in conclusion, eating a breakfast doesn't directly cause health habits, but it's clear that skipping your morning meal has a very, very negative effect and disrupts your body in a very negative way from where its natural process is supposed to be. People who don't eat breakfast are more likely to miss important nutritions needed for that day. So when you don't eat that breakfast, like I said, it affects your energy levels, and that affects your cognitive function, and that also affects how much you eat, in the rest of the day. So it really does have a big effect on, your daily life. It has an effect on everything that you do, everything from simple tasks to, going to class or going to work or, anything that you do throughout the day. Having that good, nutritious, big breakfast in the morning is going to make things so much better throughout the day than if you didn't have anything to eat. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I hope that you guys got a little bit of something out of this speech. And I really, really encourage you guys to have a very good breakfast in the morning. Stick to those varieties. Get all the nutrients that you need so that you can go and flourish throughout the day and just do really well. All right, thank you.